Hey, how's it going? My name is Grant Chasson. I'm a certified mental performance coach. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what it takes to be an above average quarterback. So, real quick, just picture a scenario. You're down five, there's 17 seconds left to go. You're on the 15-yard line. You tripped concept to the field. Coach calls four verts with some kind of, invert between two and three. Remote short motioning your best friend who you've been playing with for years. It's just the perfect play call and the perfect setup. There's no questioning, there's no doubt. And the free safety, you peek him, he looks right over at number three, who's running a wheel route as his four vert concept. And all of a sudden, your best friend, who you've been throwing to for years, is wide open right down the middle. There's no hesitation. You drop back. There's no thinking. You deliver the ball straight to his chin, and he walks into the end zone. Your team wins. Think about the emotion that goes into that. Think about what's happening right now. You can hear the stadium erupt. You can feel the vibrations from everyone cheering. You can feel the energy shoot through your body. And it's actually a feeling that you just can't replicate. You are the leader, you are the quarterback. You just put your team in that position to set up a win. Could be a playoff game, big competition, big divisional rivalry, whatever it might be. And you'll never be able to replicate that again. So, what's it take to make sure that when the time comes for you to step up and be the guy, that you do it, that you have no thoughts racing through your head. You have complete confidence in your ability, and without a doubt, you will execute at a high level every single time. It's pretty simple. A great mindset. Shocker, right? Mental performance coach. So, in this video, we're going to talk about exactly what that takes and what it means to develop an unstoppable mindset and killer mentality to dominate at the quarterback position. So, real quick, before you ask, who is this guy? Look, my background is sports and quarterback. I was a quarterback in high school. I signed to Division I scholarships, Northwestern State, where I essentially got onto the field a little bit, but then pretty much ended the career abruptly. Consider myself a failure, all the things, but at least it led me down the path to help athletes and be in the same situation where I wish I would have been way back when I was 20 years old, when I was stepping away from the game. So the first thing you do is have to just silence all the distractions of what makes a great quarterback, right? You're going to hear height, you're going to hear weight, you're going to hear 40 time, you're going to hear about hand size, okay? All these things are just metrics people use to try to predict what's going to be the next greatest thing. And honestly, it's to commercialize the NFL Combine. I mean, call it what it is. Nobody wants to watch the NFL Combine, but now you're talking about comparison and seeing different quarterbacks and what they do on different metrics, have some kind of indicator of success. A lot goes into it. But you have to really look and say, okay, what does it mean to be a great quarterback? And look at case studies of what's happened, right? I always look back as a Louisiana native. I was at the Manning Passing Academy when I was, 14 years old. I watched Jamarcus Russell take one step and throw the ball 83 yards in the air, and it looked like he almost yawned before he did it. It was just effortless to him. Okay. He had a cannon of an arm, 6'6", 250, all the check marks. But the mentality, it was wasted. It became nothing. He was a bust. Okay. Same thing with Johnny Manziel, won a Heisman. He'll tell you, I gave my career away. I left so much on the table. I just could not stop the partying, the drinking, the alcohol, the drugs, everything. So those are guys who have remarkable talent, but didn't pan out to the top level versus guys who were pretty average in terms of height, weight, high school, college performance to a certain extent. Well, I'll say freshman year of Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, and Baker Mayfield, arguably one of the top veterans in the game right now. The one thing about those two guys is they had unbelievable belief in themselves. Baker trusted himself. He didn't tell a single coach on Oklahoma staff that he was transferring to go play there. They didn't know about him. They knew of him because they played against him, but he just said, I'm going to the best of the best, and I'm going to prove myself no matter what it takes. And that's what he did. He had to sit out a year. He was walking through these mental reps and going through the play script on a year that he sat out. It was just incredible what he was doing. And the payoff obviously speaks for itself, crossing over almost the $100 million mark between incentives, signing bonuses, and things like that over his career. Heisman Trophy, first round pick. But it's hard to predict that unless you have full belief in yourself and the commitment to the work that you're going to put in. Drew Brees was the same way. Drew Brees talks about his mindset, his toughness, and what he embodied, and he just relentlessly believed in himself. And that allowed him to go to Purdue, all the way from Austin, Texas, and that allowed him to fight for a starting job, I think his sophomore year, and essentially lead Purdue to a Rose Bowl and get a Heisman bid. I mean, come on. So those two guys to me just embody full confidence, full self-belief, and didn't have all the actual physical tools, right? Baker's 6'1", Drew's 6 foot, and they just always, said that, I didn't care what my height was. I'm going to prove a point that I can play, and I'm going to do this the right way. So the quicker you find models around your game, your style of play, who you aspire to be, I think the better it is for you to have something to follow and to have almost like that alter ego persona effect, right? When I was growing up, when I was a freshman, Tim Tebow was all the rage. I mean, this guy is throwing weights around, he's running over defenders, he's throwing, passing, everything. And of course, if I thought about the mentality of, do I feel like working out today? Do I feel like going run stadiums with 150-degree heat down in South Louisiana? The second I said no, I said, wait, what would Tim Tebow do? And then all of a sudden, I found myself sweating at the stadium, going and putting in the extra work. So the sooner you find a model, the better. Okay, so let's dive into the actual steps you need to build this out, to be that undeniably great quarterback. Okay, until you learn these things, you're going to be average. It's simple. Everybody can throw. Everybody's got decent height. But when you learn these 5 tactics, when you learn these mechanics, you've got a chance. Okay, here we go. A relentless desire to be the best. All right, think about the thirstiest you've ever been. You took a sip of water. It wasn't enough. You drank the whole bottle of water. Still wasn't enough. You couldn't quench that thirst. Think of that thirst as the need and want to be the best quarterback ever. You just can't stop thinking about it. It's only thing that's stopping you from being at peace. It's undeniable. Okay, this desire to be the best, you just can't quench that thirst. I'm not saying you don't celebrate wins. You absolutely must celebrate wins every single day. I make my clients write an evidence log of wins every day, no matter what. 3 wins, no matter what. And you should always, always piggyback on that for your confidence on the back end. But I'm talking about no matter what, every day, we're not settled. We're not settling. We are going to step up to do whatever it takes to be the best quarterback possible, because your desire to be the best is insatiable. It's relentless. You can't stop. Number 2, focus so sharp that it could cut through iron, right? When I say this, I mean 2 types of focus. Number 1, focus on the big picture, okay? And the other type of focus is to focus on what needs to be done right now in this moment, okay? For focus right now, the short focus, put the phone down, okay? Do something that's going to allow you to increase your focus, right? Lock in on a book, lock in on a manual, lock in on the playbook. Do something away from the electronics that will have you programmed to training your brain. I need to be presently focused at this moment right now. Because when you dive into a meeting, your first quarterback meeting or offensive meeting in college, I promise you, there's no phones anywhere, and you better pay attention and lock in and know how to focus. Because the second you drift off, it's done. You're behind the guy next to you. So what are you going to do? In terms of the big focus, in terms of the big picture, you're always having what you want to be in the back of your mind, right? So that means no matter what you do throughout the day, every little thing you do is moving the needle closer to that big picture. When you go into the pantry for a snack, there's a banana, fruit versus candy. Okay. You have the focus of the big picture in the back of your head. You know right away, okay, what's going to benefit me to move me closer towards my goals? All right. I'm going to eat this fruit banana right now and do the healthy option. And when I prove myself over the course of 5 days living to this discipline, maybe I'll have a small piece of candy. Okay. That's the focus you need to see the big picture all the time. Number 3, get super comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Every day you should be doing something that takes you out of your comfort zone. Okay. If you have to go outside to throw and it starts to rain a little bit, hey, put the quarterbacks, put the good footballs away, take out the bad footballs and throw in the rain, right? That's super uncomfortable. Nobody wants to do that. If it's hot, it's 3:30, 3 o'clock, go out there and throw in the heat. Nobody wants to do it. On top of that, wake up early and go throw before the sun comes up. Okay. Get the sunlight in your eyes right when you wake up. Get out there, get some stadiums in, get some throwing in, and work out before the day even starts for most people. That's uncomfortable. right? I've always leaned into the cold exposure, right? Taking cold showers, taking a cold plunge. I'm looking at my cold plunge in the backyard over there, about 49 degrees right now. Absolutely miserable. But I know that if I can train my body to embrace that discomfort and embrace that stress, when things happen that are going to give me adversity or stress me out, my body will react in a better way. As an offensive coordinator, I always tried to make difficult, uncomfortable situations while we were training. In practice, I would blast Metallica on the speaker while we're doing an important drill, especially in an important week, or even a week that we knew we probably had an easy win. It was like, how do we challenge them this week? So we throw in some Metallica, then they get used to it and start playing the air guitar. So then I would throw in Taylor Swift or Imagine Dragons, and they didn't like that. So then they would always have a distraction to make the drill a little bit more uncomfortable. Okay, when quarterbacks would get into a rhythm and start backing up and doing their throwing drills before practice, I would start clapping in their face. I would start yelling things at them just to give them a little bit level of discomfort. But before you knew it, they didn't mind. So when we were down 7-0, 14-0, the quarterbacks would step up and be the leader and say, hey, it is what it is. We got this one play at a time. And those are the ones who set themselves apart. So every single day, if you can do something out of your comfort zone, do it. Okay, this one's a little intense. But number 4 is accept that nobody is coming to save you. The Navy SEALs adopt this mindset that everything is their own fault. Even if it's not my fault, no matter what, I'm taking the blame and it's on me to change it. So as a quarterback, if your throwing motion's off, if your grip is messed up, if you're not throwing well today, your receivers aren't catching, the blame is on you, on yourself. I am the reason that this isn't working out correctly. I blame myself. What am I going to do differently? Hey, maybe you need to be more positive to the receiver and not tear him down after a catch. It drove me nuts when I would see guys laugh at other teammates that would drop a pass at practice. Well, guess what? If we need that person to catch a 2-point conversion to win the Super Bowl or to win the state championship, do you think his confidence would be there from his teammates laughing at him at practice for a drop? No. Always pick your guys up and be that guy. Okay. But no matter what, nobody's coming to save you. If there's something wrong in your performance or there's something odd about what's going on in your life in terms of your sport and playing quarterback, it's all your fault, whether it is or not. But that's the mentality. And then we fix it. I wish I would have known this when I was a 20-year-old walking away from the game. I wish I would have had hands on Steve Young's football book QB, where he threw 10,000 spirals like in the spring of his freshman year to prove to the coaches that he could actually throw and he wasn't going to play safety. And I should have done that. And that probably would have saved my career to a certain extent. Okay. And number 5, final step. This is kind of a broad one, but we can break it down into a few more pieces. You have to enter David Goggins mode, right? I'm not saying go run 200 miles in the desert. Okay. I'm saying you have to wake up and challenge that inner voice in your head that says, hey, you can't do it. You don't feel like doing this. Man, all your buddies are back home from college. They're all just hanging out, nothing to do. They don't have to work out and do all these things. It's horrible. But if you can challenge that inner dialogue and win the inner dialogue each day, you'll give yourself a chance, right? So Goggins made a big point every day to, number 1, regulate his nervous system. That meant relaxing. That meant doing some deep breath work. Any chance he got in a stressful moment or environment was about to take place, he would start doing the breath work and start doing the box breathing. Second, he rehearsed the day. What are my challenges coming forth today? Like, what's going to happen to me today that is going to be super challenging? Look at the weather. Hey, is it going to rain at practice? A quarterback's worst nightmare. Maybe so. All right, just prepare yourself mentally. Okay, the ball's going to be slick. I might have to adjust my grip a little bit. I'm going to try to bring an extra towel. Do whatever you can to prepare for those intense situations. See the day before it unfolds so that you're mentally prepared no matter what happens when it happens. Okay. And also, we do this cool thing in my coaching business, my practice, where I'm just constantly trying to teach the athletes about neuroplasticity. All right. The rewiring of your brain. And it starts with behavior. Okay. So when you feel a challenge happening, our first mindset is to tell ourselves, oh my gosh, this is a threat to my happiness. And then we start to get nervous. We enter fight or flight. But in actuality, if you can reframe that into, wow, a challenge, how lucky and grateful am I for a challenge? This is another chance for me to grow, another person to show who I can be, what type of person I am. And when you do that, all of a sudden your brain starts to like the challenge. It starts to activate these little networks in your brain that tell you, hey, sometimes bad situations are good for us because it's going to make us grow stronger. And it's a powerful, powerful tool when you can do this correctly every single day. So look, I didn't say anything about dancing around cones or stepping over ladders or high stepping and throwing tennis balls into the net. Those are all great, but everybody's doing it. What are you going to do to separate yourself as a quarterback that wants to level up your game? Okay. These guys I spoke of, Breeze, Mayfield, even let's throw in Brady. They just had the relentless mentality of being the best and the desire to be the best. So Breeze said it himself. The challenges are just blessings. The challenges are ways to help you grow. And Brady said, go out there and do what nobody else is doing. Set yourself apart and be different. And what's the difference indicator is your consistency. Okay. You're going to show up when nobody else will. You're going to show up on every single day, no matter what it takes to remember that big goal, to keep that focus of the big goal. So if you enjoyed this video, if you need help working on this with me, I'm glad to coach you. I'm glad to give you every tool I've possibly gathered from my knowledge of coaching football and teaching psychology and becoming a certified mental performance coach over the years. So I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in checking out my business. And until then, be fearless.